What's going on, YouTube world? Welcome back to another episode of the TST Garage. And today I'm not in the garage, I'm actually outside. Here in front of me I have our 2022 Honda Grom. This is the third generation Grom. Today's video, we are finally doing what you all have asked. We are going to see what the top speed on this Grom is. So, without further ado, let's get right to it. Alright, so here we are, as I mentioned, on our 2022 Honda Grom. This is the third generation Grom with the 5-speed transmission, new redesign, gear indicator, shift light, all that jazz. But we're pretty excited. We've been working on this, on the third generation Groms for a little while now, since we got ours. And today we've been getting a lot of questions on our YouTube videos asking, oh, what's the top speed? And we have seen that a few people have done top speed videos. Credits and shout outs to them. I think that this isn't something that you can oversaturate, because everyone in every area will have different riding conditions, everything from the rider size and weight to the environmental changes that you're encountering, and even the Grom itself. We have been already seeing that there are some widespread transmission issues with this new Grom. So it is something to take note of. We are simply trying to provide as true to facts as possible for our conditions on our Grom, and to give you guys an idea of what you can possibly expect. It's important to note a few constants that will be present in this video, and I will highlight them here. 1, I am about 5'7" and 190 pounds. That will not change unless I eat some lunch. 2, we are in Florida. We are below sea level in elevation. It is about 89 to 91 degrees right now, with probably 100% humidity. It is hot, it is humid, and there's not a lot of clean, crisp, cold air being fed into this bike. That also increases the resistance as you're riding. And number 3, this is our Grom. There are no modifications on this bike for engine performance, as I already mentioned, and that's it. So it's important to keep that in mind. But in this video, I'll be riding sitting up, and I will be riding tucked in as much as possible. I'm going to try and scoot back on the seat as much as possible and get as much of a tuck in order to create less wind and rolling resistance against the road, hopefully increasing the top speed. Alright. So this is going to be the first run of the test. I'm going to try and take it up to red line as much as possible. This is me sitting up. I'm already seeing 58 miles an hour. Let's see if I downshift into fourth, 60. So I'm right at speed limit. I know the speed limit increases up here. 61. So in these conditions, there's very little wind today, but I'm seeing a top speed of about 61 miles an hour on a flat surface. Now we are going to go downhill a bit. I'm going to shift back down in the fourth, give it a little bit more juice, see if that helps as I go downhill a little bit. 62, 63, 64, and this is me sitting up, guys. I'm not tucked right now, so 65 miles an hour. So highway speeds, slower highway speeds, but nonetheless it is a highway speed. If you have a mob of these and you want to hop on the highway, I'm sure, you know, you could become a big enough moving body of bikes that it wouldn't be an issue to ride on the highway. So we saw 65 miles an hour sitting upright. That's the top speed going downhill. And I think we saw 61 on a flat surface. Now we're going to test this going uphill, and then I'm going to perform the same test but tucked down to see if that changes anything. I'm going to try and stay in fourth gear as much as possible. I do have to say, I think I've said it before, and I will constantly say it about this bike, but the introduction of the fifth gear, to me, it's really awesome because it keeps you in the power band a lot more. You could see if I go into fifth, it gets a little sluggish. I've already went down to 58, 59 miles an hour. Probably go down to 58, yep. So if I downshift, it gives it a little bit more juice. I stay in the power band a little bit more. So that's something to note. Going uphill, I'm not even hitting 60. 58. 59. So I'd give it 60 going uphill. That's a pretty, in my opinion, a pretty fair limit to give it in these conditions. All right. Miles an hour. I don't know if you saw that briefly. 68 miles an hour in a full tuck on a straight surface. Now let's test it out going downhill. Before I ran out of room. So right there, we saw 60 on the flat sitting up. That increased to 66 or 68, my apologies. That is phenomenal. That's an 8 mile an hour gain by just going in a full tuck. And then going downhill, we actually hit 70 miles an hour. I don't know what that's going to look like going uphill. I am expecting decent gains as well. Alright, let's see. Still struggling. So, in a full tuck, going uphill, we actually briefly touched 65, and that was all she had. So I think that's it. I think we're going to call it a day. My gas light's probably going to turn on any minute now. So we're going to head back to the shop, just go over what we saw yet again, and then give this to you guys. Stay tuned. And we are back. So I hope that you all enjoyed this video. As always, don't forget to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Obviously you're already on YouTube. Hit that notification bell on. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comment field below. And lastly, check us out on tstindustries.com. You can check out some of these sweet parts we have on this Grom and for a ton of other models. Catch you guys next time. Ride safe.